Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Spirituality Gone Wild. I am Debbie G, and it's time to tune in with the moon this morning. We have, of course, the incredible Claudia Thompson, who is an amazing lunar astrologer. She's the original, she's the only, let me tell you. This woman has been the lunar astrologer for the stars. She has been known all over the world for the work that she does, and she is amazing. So, I'm going to go ahead and while you guys are sharing this out and we're loading up the studio, get your questions ready. If you have any questions about lunar astrology, get them ready because we're going to be going over them today. And I'm just going to play a quick little intro and we will bring Claudia right on up. I'm so stoked to be here. Okay, everybody, let's raise that vibration.
Don't know how you move me so. I don't know why I need to know. But what I'm feeling now is like a mystery to me. The sky is falling and I'm wondering why. So many days and nights have passed me by without you standing here. There's nothing left for me to see. Forever comes and forever goes, but where it stops I'll never know. Stay a little while, there's nowhere we have to be. Cause I don't need to know right now. There's no one left beside me anyhow. Stay a little while, there's no one meant for you but me. Oh yeah.
Well, the wonderful James Twyman. If you guys have never heard of James Twyman, I highly encourage you to please look him up and also look at our interview that we did right here on Spirituality Gone Wild because James Twyman is one remarkable human being who does so much great work out there in this world. Claudia, good morning, gorgeous. I am
Morning.
so excited that you are here again. You guys, listen. We are going to really be diving into some serious stuff happening with the lunar astrology report, as well as just so that you know, right straight off the bat, you can book a session with Claudia, and I highly encourage you to do that because, dear golly, there's nobody else in the world that knows the moon like you do, Claudia.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
It's an ongoing relationship, and I learn from everybody else as well because we all have our own relationship with the moon, right?
We all have our own relationship with the moon, and I love that, but I also love that you have such insight to this. I have never met anybody ever. I'll give a quick shout out how I met you. So I was at this place called the Ranch in Desert Hot Springs. Was it the Fairy Fest we were at? The Fairy Fest.
Yeah, it was a whole weekend thing that people had been at. I just came in for the day, but
yeah, and then this stunning woman comes up to me and she introduces herself and it's Claudia. And it was just this instant vibe and attraction because she's just amazing. And here we are years later. I had no idea who I was meeting. I can promise you all that. And so once I found out who I was meeting, I was like, well, you have got your credentials are amazing and the things that you've done. So it's just extraordinary. So without further ado, I'm going to let you take on over and let's talk about the moon. What is going on?
Well, we have a really powerful week ahead. And first, I want to get a collective hallelujah from everybody, because this morning, and I can tell you exactly when, after 8:30, the moon moved direct. Mercury moved direct. And we're all glad to hear that, I'm sure, because it's been in an air sign. And that means that things with technology and our thinking processes and all of this have been thrown up in the air for 3 weeks, and it's come to a close. Yes, Peggy, whoop, whoop, exactly. And right now I want us to put our feet on the floor. We're still under that Libra energy, and we're going to do a little heart drop. So put your feet on the floor and your palms up in your lap, and just breathe in some beautiful bronze, earthy, beautiful metallic energy from below your feet all the way up. Just let it move all the way up through your cells, all the way through your body. And when it gets to the top of your head, it joins with white light beaming down from the universe through your crown chakra. And your mental energy moves down behind your forehead, behind your facial mask, behind your throat, down through your chest. You hear the beautiful beating of your heart. You feel it, and you are there. Do 2 or 3 of these breaths until you really feel yourself physically in your heart. You'll know when you're there because you won't be in the past or the future or anywhere but here with Debbie and me. And now that bronze has joined with the white light, and you are golden. Welcome, radiant beings, to a powerful week, as I'd mentioned. We have not only Mercury retrograde today, but tonight between 7 and 8 p.m., Jupiter will move in direct motion. Mercury direct. I keep saying retrograde. Can you tell it socked me sideways? It really, really did, because
I'm excited
in my chart. So remember, the universe is like a locomotive, not a rocket. So we'll have a shadow period of 2 weeks to get moving on the things that we saw, that we assimilated. And as I mentioned, I think it was last week, that we are recalibrating our communication and relationships. That's what the opportunity that was brought to us with this retrograde in Libra. Mars is there too, and Mars continues to be a big player in Libra. Not at home in Libra, rules Aries, so it's been stirring up a lot of stuff. So we've gotten to see relationships that were outworn, that needed recalibrating, and where we could create more win-win solutions. And remembering always, more than ever in Libra, that love is the solution and the answer. So be sure to be willing to look at where you withdraw love from situations. Judgment closes the heart. And with that South Node in Sagittarius this year, we've all been asked to really look at how we judge. It's very quick. And the media really encourages us to judge constantly. And that means that you're working with a heart that isn't fully open. A lot of us had situations in childhood that taught us that it wasn't safe, that our heart wasn't a safe place to be. But we now know that we're experiencing an awakening of the global heart. So it starts with us, right? Just as all those other wonderful, lovely Libra energies of peace, harmony, beauty, grace, justice, all begin within us. So today, the moon moved into Aries at 3:04 a.m. So that's wonderful wind beneath your wings to start the week. Aries is a go-getter energy. And wherever Mars goes, energy flows. So it's telling you that you really have a green light to move forward on the things that you saw regarding relationship. And that theme's going to continue, although we are going to have a solar change on Friday, which I'll be talking about. So the phases of the moon, of which there are 8 in every cycle, 3.5 days approximately for each phase. And these phases are unerring. You can look up at the moon and know what time it is because of the phase. You'll know the energy, the keyword, the action to take, all of these things with each phase. And we are now in the gibbous phase. I call this the pressure cooker phase. It's the phase that precedes the full moon. So on October 6th, Mercury went retrograde and we had a new moon. And we set some powerful intentions. And now in the gibbous phase, we look at how we've done with those intentions, and we polish our progress. So you get to look back at your intentions and see where you may have gone off course. I mean, if you've navigated the retrograde successfully, you're here, you're alive, we're good, right? But now you have this window of opportunity between now and Wednesday morning to take some final steps on your intentions. Just choose one step that will move your intention forward. So you'll have a happy full moon report card, because the full moon is the point at which the energy is going to shift. And that full moon will be in Aries. So we know that we have this go juice, this enthusiastic energy moving us forward from now through Wednesday.
Wow. I want to jump in really quick and ask everybody, first say hi to Sandra. Hi, Joe. Hi, Peggy. And anybody else that's watching, no matter where that you're watching from, post what small intention step that you can take this week. Go ahead and think about that, what Claudia just said. Let's start putting some stuff in action here. So, okay, what's next?
I mentioned that Jupiter's moving direct, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about the retrogrades, just in case you're curious. October is a pivotal month because we've had 4 planets move in direct motion. Jupiter joining Mercury in direct motion today. And Jupiter really helped us, it helped us find the blocks that keep us from expanding our vision. It's in Aquarius. Aquarius is the visionary, the humanitarian. One thing I've noticed, I have a lot of friends with Aquarius energy. And one thing I've worked with my whole life is the fact that it's fixed energy, it's air, and so it can be very mentally fixed in its opinions. So that's the challenge. Its opposite is Leo, which is the sign of the heart. So it reminds us that we have to have a vision with a heart, and we have to be willing to listen to others' opinions, try them on. Like a hat, an opinion. Everybody has an opinion, right? So if you're going to honor humanity, that's part of the deal. Doesn't mean that you have to march to the frequency of that opinion, but really get in touch with your vision now that Jupiter's moving direct. How can you expand that? How can you remove the blocks that keep you from having a bigger vision for humanity and walking it, and bringing the spiritual element into everything you do, which to me is love. That's the language to me that Source speaks to us with, love. And so Saturn moved direct on the 10th. And that really put us into a lot of karmic issues. That's been there going on since the 23rd of May. So over the summer, you may have found that there was some deep stuff that came up for you to clear so that you could restructure, reformulate your life and the systems in your life. We're seeing it happen globally. We're seeing the systems crumble to be reformulated. So we got a little window into that this summer. And now we get to move forward on what we've seen, the way that we want to restructure and reformulate, and have a, make a blueprint for our vision. And Pluto moved direct on the 6th, same day as the new moon. So, that's karmic, but it's really about our inherent self-empowerment. Is power an outer construct? Is there power over us working in our lives, or does it simply spur us to realize that power is inherent? It's not force, and that we are the power of the universe. We hold it within us. So Pluto is moving forward, and now this week we're going to have an opportunity as we move through the week to literally transform some energy. So as I said, it's a very, very powerful week as we have certain elements moving into place. Saturn retrograde seemed to affect Capricorn and Aquarian energy the most. And so wherever you have that in your chart, also, you got affected by it as well. And it shows you where the retrograde was located.
Well, that's hilarious. Now, I'm an Aquarius with a Capricorn rising.
Yeah, you've been.
No, wait.
Yeah.
The Capricorn rising. I think I'm Capricorn rising.
Yes, 0 degrees, darling. Yep.
Yeah. So just saying all this it's kind of a trip when I listen to this. It's like, wow. Good morning, Bob. How are you? We are having a wonderful discussion about the moon and how that you can have the moon working for you this week. By the way, everything is going direct, so get excited. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of a trip, but that is my energy too.
Yeah. And, so Jupiter was the only one of these that moved back into Pisces. So we have Pisces and Aquarius being affected by the Jupiter retrograde. And with Pluto, it was again Capricorn. So yeah, you had quite a summer. It's time for you just to like exhale and really reflect on all the changes that you saw that you would like to make. So, and we know that you had big news happen. Talk about transformation. So I see
Well,
that
actually,
beautiful
oh, the
ring.
ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got engaged, and you know what's interesting, you all, is that I'm engaged to a Leo. I'm engaged to a Leo, and we both have Libra moons. It's hilarious. And it actually is quite fun if
Well,
you want to
that's what
get
makes it
technical.
work. Soulmates are moonmates, not sunmates, folks. So remember that one. Because the moon is 95% of your subconscious. It represents your subconscious. And that's considered to be 95% of your operating system. So, another way that we're being brought back into knowing ourselves better as we rise to this in this time of awakening is to recognize that the moon, which has everything to do with our daily lives, is like wisdom that's been hidden from us. It's all sun sign, go, go, go. But actually, we live in a world of ebb and flow. And if you follow the moon, you have the right timing for everything, because the moon waxes, grows until the full moon. So you have outward active building energy. And then at the full moon, the energy shifts, and it shifts from waxing to waning. So the light is given back to the sun for another go round. So I mentioned that that it's a powerful, powerful week. This full moon is going to be about self-empowerment. So it's right in line with what we've been talking about. And it's being in Aries at 27 degrees. It's at the end of the sign. So it's asking you to look at leadership in your life. Are you a pioneer? Are you the leader in your own life? Or have you felt that your individual expression has been tamped down? We're seeing people take to the streets of the world. This full moon will have Eris very involved in it, close to the sun. And so Eris is the goddess of discord. So she can, she can raise some hell. And she wasn't invited to a wedding, and she got very aggravated, and she went and told her brother Apollo, who was another in the pantheon of the gods, and he supposedly started the Trojan War over it. So, make love, not war. Mars is in Libra, reminding us that we have that option always. Aries is enthusiastic. It's courageous. We have quite a setup for the full moon, and that is going to be at 7:56 a.m. on Wednesday morning at 27 degrees of fiery, just do it, Aries. So, it probably would like to reach across the zodiac and grab that Mars out of Libra, but the Libra is reminding us to take that courage, to take that enthusiasm and create win-win solutions rather than knee-jerk. Because we may find that our impulsivity can create a crisis situation with this full moon. And you may very well see it played out around you. That's the better way to go. if you possibly can, rather than being the instigator of a crisis in your own life or in someone else's. Remembering that the ruler of this full moon is a cross in Libra, saying win-win, peace, harmony. Let's remember that there is a heart-based solution that we can find. This T-square involves Pluto, so that's where the self-empowerment also is enhanced. But the impulsivity also can come from unapologetic control, trying to control people or situations. And with Jupiter direct, and Jupiter really has so much to do with expansion of our spiritual nature, to remember to expand our spirit, that, Source is in the driver's seat. It's not outside of you, it's you, but it's dropping into your heart and surrendering to that greater energy, to put it mildly. I'm looking here to see, because I know that even though we have a kind of a possibly bombastic full moon, we have a trine in air. So that's harmonious thinking and loving thoughts and communication. And on Wednesday night, after we have this full moon, the moon's going to move into Taurus at 12:59 p.m. That's midday.
Okay.
So that kind of calms the waters, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, as it moves through Taurus on Thursday, we're going to find that it moves to join Uranus at some point. So that tells us that we really want freedom and liberation. And what blocks are we willing to remove? Are we in touch with nature? Are we in touch with our own part in the ecosystem, in ecological awareness? How are we living? Are we involved in stuff, more and more and more stuff? Or do we know that we are enough and therefore we always have enough? That's a huge awakening on the planet. That's the economic system. That's the illusion that we've been living under. And it has had us enslaved around the chasing of the material world. And we know that most of us listening here are walking between the 3D and the 5D. The 4D, nobody talks about the 4D, right? But the 4D is where you realize that you are the creator of your reality, that you actually create the 3D. You take full responsibility, and that's what freedom requires, is responsibility, the ability to respond, hopefully lovingly, to situations rather than with fear. And one of the things that I thought about for the full moon that I would like to share with you, you may have heard it before, but it's from Marianne Williamson. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. You playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we're liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. That sort of puts the high side of the full moon in perspective right there. So once the moon moves into Taurus, I mentioned a bit about that. On Saturday, just your weekend update, the moon's going to move into Gemini, and it does that at 12:57 a.m. So you do wake up on Saturday with a social, chatty, networking kind of energy. So remember to listen and learn, because that's what Gemini is really about. It's about communication, but it's also about taking in information, feeling people, learning where they're at, not assuming that you know where they're at, but letting them tell you. And we move out of the full moon phase. Full moon is reflect, it's culmination and manifestation. You get to see what has transpired since the new moon regarding your intentions. The gibbous phase that we're in now is like a tightly closed bud. You can't see what the rose is going to look like when it blooms and opens. So you have to, in faith, polish your progress and look at whether you're aligned with those intentions or whether you're over here or over here or over here. And with the retrograde, I really do suggest that you take some moments to look at those intentions and pull yourself back into focus. No harm, no foul, no judgment, just knowing that planets are moving forward and so are you on those intentions with those steps. At the full moon, you make a wish. And we're going to go through that that wish ritual in just a minute, so you know exactly how to do that. The moon is a big release point in the cycle. So hopefully, with the work that you do between now and Wednesday, you'll have a beautiful blossoming rose that smells wonderful, rather than an anemic, stinky rose. We really see full moons. Full moons are about relationship, right? Because the moon has no light of its own. It all comes from the sun. So see your relationship to everything, to your intentions, to other people, to situations in your life, and taking the opportunity to release the things that would prevent you from having a wish come true. And of course, in Aries, you can look in your chart and target the area even more definitely. But just the fact that it's in Aries, how can I make a wish around self-empowerment? How can I make a wish around really being that leader, that pioneer in my life, and having enthusiasm so that I am able to share? Remember, we are coming out of the time of sharing your harvest, to share my harvest with others in new ways, because Aries is about the new. It's the sign of spring. And with that full moon, you are looking back to the 11th of April. We looked at the full moon, we look back to 2 weeks to the new moon, but we also look back to when the moon was new in that sign. So that's 6 months ago. And this is why journaling is so powerful and necessary, so that you get that, you get your intentions. You look back at what your intentions were then. Well, then all the retrogrades began. So maybe they've changed. Maybe your vision has changed. So you can take a little time to tweak that and ramp up the energy around it. Aries has such wonderful energy. It's cardinal energy. And that's one of the things that's being kicked off is this cardinal cross, this world cardinal cross. And the T-square has to do with Capricorn, Libra, and Aries. So where's the outlet? Because there are 4 cardinal signs, and they all initiate the seasons. That's what kind of initiative action they can, the energy produces. So the outlet is Cancer. And Cancer is about emotional security, reminds you to bring your inner child out to play, and to have compassion. So that will help you navigate any odd things that go sideways at the time of the full moon. So when we get to Sunday, we move into the disseminating phase. So we're going through a lot of territory this week. And the disseminating phase is the phase where we take a bite out of the fruit that the flowering full moon has produced. And we see, is it bitter? Is it sweet? What's the truth of what we've experienced during this harvest time, during these retrogrades? So now I want to talk a little bit about the wish ritual. Full moon, new moons are for setting intentions. And
I'm excited.
at full moon,
I'm sorry. I want to jump in really quickly and ask everybody, listen, we're going to make some full moon wishes. Start putting them in the chat. Let's have some fun with this.
What you're going to do is, remember, it needs to be concise. You're not wishing for the kitchen sink. So target it into that Aries energy. You may wish to empower yourself to have a new wonderful relationship, bringing that in. It may simply be, I want to be the leader in my own life. I want to step forth into the spotlight of leadership in my life. I want to wake up and be enthusiastic every day. And how are you going to do that? So you always start, I happily and thankfully wish for. Your intentions are I happily and thankfully create, but the wish is I happily and thankfully wish for something simple. And the reason is because the universe likes concise simplicity. You can say I want a relationship and you'll end up with all kinds of things if you're not specific. So perhaps I want to feel empowered in my life. I happily and thankfully wish for more self-empowerment. Guide me to be that leader, to be empowered, to be enthusiastic, courageous. These are all things that are appropriate for this Aries moon. You may go back and grab an intention from the 11th of April at that new moon and bring it into a wish form. Because the energy of building, active, outward, growing, manifesting has peaked at the full moon. So it's a wish in my litany, it's a wish rather than an intention, which you will turn into an intention at the next new moon in 2 weeks. So you make a simple, concise wish, and let's see, I happily and thankfully wish to be a powerful, kind, loving leader. Okay, so that might be one. Now, you get a notebook paper, piece of notebook paper if you wish. I end up with a Post-it note, and you're going to see why in a minute. And you're going to do some release work. So what is it that you're releasing? Are you releasing shyness? Maybe an unwillingness to step out. Blockages that you've targeted. You know, it can be a long list, just everything, just brain dump, everything you want to release. And then once you've got it narrowed down, I put it on a Post-it note, and sometimes it's the back and the front, because you're going to burn that. So I have a little bitty cauldron that I use, but you can use whatever you wish to use. It's great to do it outside under the full moon's light. You burn that piece of paper, and as you do, feel it like the smoke, almost like sticky stuff that moves through your cells, picking up everything that has to do with what you're releasing, and feel it just move right out into its native nothingness, right out of your existence. And then you move into a meditative place, and you close your eyes, take a few breaths until you're present. You can use the heart drop. It's always good. And then see your wish inside your forehead. Your eyes are closed. The breath is coming and going gently. And you see that wish inside your forehead, which is why another reason you don't want it to be the kitchen sink. You want it to be concise. I happily and thankfully. And then you visualize. What does that look like? Get a good picture of it. And then the wish turns 90 degrees, and it begins to head down behind your facial mask, down, 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 down through your throat, down through your chest and heart, coming to rest on your belly. And when it, boom, hits your belly, it explodes into light. When you first see your wish inside your forehead, it's lit up. But now it explodes so that you are feeling that wish come true in every cell, every parsec of your being. Really, really enjoy that. Might be relief, might be, you know, I don't know what you're wishing for, but feel all the feelings. And then ramp it up even farther so that it moves through your body, moves through your skin, and fills your auric field. And just
I love this.
bask in the emotional frequency of this wish. I love that, Bob. I love it. Yes, couldn't be better than that. So,
I wish to have my days empowered with joy and excitement is what Bob is putting here. And that is such a beautiful intention, Bob. I love that.
It is. And so once you've done this, and just sit with it as long as you wish. Should something come up that I call a dream stealer that's trying to block you reaching that frequency of the wish come true, from your belly, wah, give it sound and release it. You'll find that it just moves right out. And then you move back into basking in the frequency of your wish fulfilled. And then when you open your eyes, I love journaling. I've taught it. I've created them. It's a way to live a life more deliberately in awareness of yourself, to know yourself better. So I take my journal, but you can take blank notebook pages, whatever you wish to do, with your wish at the top, put it out under the full moon's light and charge that page. And then close it up until the next new moon. And at the next new moon, you'll pull it out and you'll write your intentions on that page, along with an intention that takes that wish and gets ready to put action underneath it. So that's, and you can do ritual. I mean, red is a color for Aries. I mentioned that pastels were a color for a Libra. So if you want to do some candles and some, I feel that our psyches really respond to ritual. And the more you can allow yourself to go into this space, sometimes full moons occur in the middle of the night and we're not up. Some people get up for them. This will be in the morning. So the moon will probably have just set, because moonrise is at sunset and moonrise or moonset is at sunrise during the full moon phase. And I'll tell you, if you get a reading, and I don't think the link for my readings is coming up here. I haven't seen it yet. But with a reading, you get a bonus called Phases at a Glance, which is something that you can put on your refrigerator or have handy, so you always know what time it is and you always know the proper action to take. You can message me at Facebook, of course, for a reading, and there's a pre-chat session involved with the reading, and I will then send you the link so you can schedule. Looking to see what else we've got going on here. Busy week. Wish portal, full moon. If you have questions, please put them in the chat so Debbie can tell me and I can answer or address them for you.
Yes, please put them into the chat, and I will post the link to book the readings into the chat. So yeah, anybody has any questions, please pop it up. Let's talk about what's going on for Aquarius this week with the full moon, since we're both Aquarius.
Well, Aquarius is what's called a sextile to Aries. And actually, the thing with Aquarius is, I mentioned that there was a grand trine in air. A trine is harmonious. T square makes you turn corners. You can bang up against your blockages. But a trine is this free flowing, harmonious energy. And so Aquarius gets to kind of ride on that this week. It's like, oh, Saturn's finally direct in my sign. Wherever that is in your chart, Saturn's direct. In my case, it's in my house of self-expression and creativity. So in Debbie's chart, it's in part of her first house and second house. So that has to do with values and self-identity. So it's kind of giving us a green light. So it should actually feel good. And part of that trine for you, Debbie, is that moon in Libra, because Libra is part of that harmonious trine. So this week should really feel like there's some forward movement, at least beginning to happen, and a spark in your being, because we have shadow periods with each of these planets. The divine design is so wonderful. It knows that we as humans need to rest, that we need to proceed deliberately so that we really experience and savor our lives. And that's what a shadow period allows you to do. Plus, Chiron in Aries is providing some healing opportunities this week along with this full moon. So if it pops things that are awarenesses of past trauma that needs to be healed, this is one of the gifts of this full moon. It brings an opportunity to clear the energy of stored emotions from the past. So
I love that.
That's something you might, that's another thing you might want to, release, do some release work around with this full moon, because it's supporting you in doing that. I'm seeing what else I've got for you here. It's such a busy, yes. On Friday, big shift in the solar energy as the sun moves into Scorpio.
Ooh.
So Pluto's direct, Mars is in Libra. In Libra, we looked at relationships, but it was more there in Libra. It's win-win. It's that balancing factor, that finding harmony. When we move into the territory of Scorpio, it's like it's more vertical energy. We want intimacy in our relationships, not just great communication, et cetera, et cetera. Challenge with Scorpio is to remember that intimacy is based on communication. So that's where you've laid the groundwork with that recalibration of communication during Mercury retrograde, fueled by Mars. And now you get to see how those healthy boundaries play out. And are you open and honest in your relationships? Because Scorpio can be very lower chakra energy. It can rule the root chakra, or it can be the Kundalini rising like a snake, repurposing that energy so that you are a whole being with your spiritual message center intact. all the time. And you can soar like the eagle. That's the goal of Scorpio energy, is for all of us, is to soar like the eagle. And of course, we have All Hallows Eve on the 31st, which is real emblematic of the deep mysteries of life and the shamanic paths that Scorpio can also open up for us. The challenge, as we move into Scorpio, and this is where the full moon can help kick this off for you, is the release of old emotions, of hurts, of traumas. Pluto has to do with elimination. And it reminds, as the ruler of Scorpio, it reminds us that when we are willing to eliminate old hurts, forgiveness and surrender are two huge words for Scorpio energy in all of us. And when you are willing to eliminate the past, eliminate those hurts by releasing them, what ends up is you have that energy to reclaim. And that's how transformation occurs, because you reclaim that energy and you transform the lead into gold. And you remember with the heart drop, you are golden. We're all sitting here
Wow.
in radiance
That's
right now.
alchemy. Alchemy, guys. That is alchemy. So, wow, you are giving some serious tricks and tools in order to shift your life into into the type of alchemy. I like mine, gratitude alchemy. That's, y'all know how much I love that. But this is moon alchemy. You can actually do this shifting using the moon's energy. Claudia, let's explain to some people who might not be aware. You've already touched on why the moon's so important, but how does it affect our body? How does it really affect our being here?
Yeah, well, like, what's the link, Claudia? Is it just a pretty orb that we look up at? Well, the Earth itself is 70% water to 30% landmass currently. And that is the same ratio of water, fluid, to physical substance within a human body. So as the tides in the oceans are moved by the phases of the moon, so we are as well. So that's why the moon can be your tide guide to your own life, so that you can navigate the ups and downs and the sideways. And I'd forgotten how many, it's something like 10,000 emotional ups and downs a day. It's just amazing the way we process all of this. And being human is being emotional. So one of the things that this work does, I hope, for you with feelization, as I call it, you'll realize what you feelize, is it takes the emotions which pool up in the lower areas and the mental energies which can just run us crazy, and it brings them into the realm of feeling. And feelings create, facts don't. And when you look out at nature, everything that you see growing in this absolutely magnificent earth place is by virtue of those phases of the moon. So you are able to tap into the powers of manifestation and creation with the right timing for everything when you start to tap into the rhythms of the moon. And it's like a new language, because it's a calendar, true timing that we've been divorced from. So in this time when we're all seeking an equitable playing field and the ability to feel really free in our own lives, to assert our freedom to be ourselves and to just be free, to have the opportunity to pursue what we want to do and fulfill our purpose on this earth, working with the lunar calendar, which is unerring. It never changes. You don't have a 28-day month that then every 4 years is 29. And some people, I talked to somebody the other day who had no idea that the calendar that we work with was made by a pope. And I believe it was either 1542 or 1562 by Pope Gregory. Before that, we had another pope, and it was Pope Julian. So these calendars are political and religious agreements, and they're constructed for that expediency. They are not constructed in any way to keep you in tune with the real rhythms of life and of creation and manifestation. They're to keep you away from knowing that you are a creator. So I'm passionate about the moon, because when I left, when I burned out from my previous career, I found that the moon was the answer to the ebb and flow that balances out the go, 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 that the real rhythms of life are not full tilt boogie all the time. We think, well, okay, I take a day off here, I take a day off there. But if you really look at balance, that's not the way it goes, right? But the year is also broken up into a lunar construct. Right now, we're in the last quarter phase of the year. So you have the waxing part of the year until the summer solstice, active outward building. And then we move into the waning part of the year. And, by November we'll have the time shift, and we will have much shorter days and longer nights. So yeah, following the moon. And what I tell people is don't just believe what I say because I say it. Start to work with these phases in your own life. How do they feel? They each last 3.5 days. So if you're aware of when they kind of start, you can start to play into them and just watch. I remember I was in LA on the 405. And if any of you know what that is, that's a bumper to bumper highway a lot of the time. And I was no longer living in LA, but I was visiting. And I was there in the balsamic phase, which is the final phase where the light completely diminishes into darkness before a new moon. And so at that time, I was watching the traffic, and people were just, it was bumper to bumper, but people were trying to, get around. They were just chomping at the bit. And I started laughing because I was watching the balsamic phase, which is you don't begin anything during that phase. It's a wind down. Light equals energy. That's what all of the lunar wisdom operates on. Light equals energy. And so it's like I saw the balsamic. I've always remembered it because I thought, oh, it's the balsamic phase of the moon. Nobody's going to get anywhere. Because if we were in a different culture, we would all be, around a fire or in our own little tents or huts, meditating, reflecting, composting, gleaning the wisdom and releasing one final time before a new moon seeding. So it's, to me, it brings joy back into your life because before electricity, before all of this, people lived with the cycles of the moon because they had the light at night and the light during the day. And it became really obvious when there was no light at night what was going on. So just start to play with it, just take a chance and play with it and just see how it moves through this week, particularly this powerful, powerful week. By the way, the moon dances with every single planet as it moves through a sign. And on another show, I will go into void of course moons and what those are, because that's a time when the moon stops dancing with any of the planets. And we have this void of course time when nothing happens. You don't push forward. So it's a refinement of this energy. But when you start to work with the moon's energies and you just take a keyword and an action and start to play with that, when you start to look at the power of intention, just really working your intentions. And the process I took you through, and I did it with the new moon for those of you who were here then, the feelization process, because I say you realize what you feelize. If you take that intention or that wish, depending on new or full moon, and you drop, if you can feel, and you hear this all over the place now, feeling is the true secret. Visualization is important, but if it is not backed up with the frequency of feeling, whatever you wish, whatever you intend, accomplished now, and walk in that. And that's where the Aries courage, is very helpful because it takes courage. Remember Katie Lang, Debbie?
I do, yeah.
She would go around saying to people when she was very young and unknown, she'd say, I'm going to be big. Everybody in the world's going to know who I am. And people would just look at her like, well, you're out to lunch, because she's a radical, unusual human being with a fabulous voice. But this is the kind of thing I mean. She walked that no matter what, no matter what anybody else believed, because you'll see it when you believe it.
That's right. That's right. There have been people who it is absolutely, if your belief system isn't in alignment with what's coming out of your mouth, chances are you're not going to see it transpire in your life. 100%. I completely believe that. And what I also know is that when you have some guidance, every ounce of help we can get is always great, right? So why not? What I'm going to encourage everyone to do is to book a session with Claudia. I actually got a message while we were on from one of our viewers who was loving this so much, and that he and his partner are putting these tools that you have been mentioning through this whole show. And if you're just joining or you're on the replay, make sure you've watched through this whole thing for all the tips and tools that Claudia has given on how that you can work with the moon energy, as well as how to set your wishes and your intentions. So this has been a powerful, powerful hour. Let's talk about what it's like what kind of sessions do you offer? And everybody you see right across, you can just email her at Claudia@moonpoweredastrology.com, and you can book a session. You can go to her page, which I will also put up right here. And let's see if we have any questions. Elisha Starr would love to have a session. Elisha, I'll definitely get you Claudia's information for sure. 100%. Elisha is an amazing, amazing co-creator and communicator over there in Hawaii. And she is a
Hawaii.
fabulous. Oh, she's a spark of amazing energy, and you will have a blast with her. Believe me. So please reach out to me if you have any issues on booking. I will get you directly connected with Claudia immediately. Nicole, I'm so glad that you're here, that you've watched it. Does anybody have any last questions? I did have somebody. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Awesome. Such amazing info, right?
Thank you. Thank you.
Seriously. What I'm excited about is that, so I've always known I was an Aquarius, you guys, and I knew that I was born on a cusp, and I have a Capricorn rising and all that, but I never realized that that Libra moon was so important. And now I get it, because it just makes sense. If I look at the Libra moon, I'm like, wow, that really taps into what goes on, as Claudia says, behind closed doors.
So I offer relationship readings, and that's, it's helpful in business as well as in personal relationships. And I offer, a basic general reading, and that both of those readings include what I call a pre-session chat, so that we can chat and I can nail down exactly what's up front for you right now. And then I can, and I'll look at the whole universe, but I want to be sure that I provide the insights that are most relevant for you right now, those burning issues. And then I'm also, and I talk about retrogrades, guys. I finally reached my tech whiz after 4 days of trying to reach her to get links for these readings that link directly to my calendar. And so I will also have a lunar discovery session, which is just about the moon, which just tunes you into the moon. A regular reading, I start with, the sun represents spirit in astrology. The moon represents soul. And so I tune you into what the moon means for you, but I also tune you into your pre-birth eclipses, which define what you came to give and what you came to learn. And then we move into the transits and the progressions and all of those things. And my strength and my goal, since I developed lunar astrology, is to make the wisdom and the insights come forth in practical language, so that you can use them. So you're not going, well, Saturn, goofy, Pluto, I don't understand, so know that it's interactive also. It's not where I just sit and, you're able to ask questions and anything that isn't clear or that you want elaborated on. So it's fun. It's a lot of fun. I mean, I adore my clients and I love what I do. So
I love what you do too. And I am honored and grateful to have you here on Spirituality Gone Wild. And for everybody it's right here. Everybody that wants to know also how to see some more information from Claudia, you can go straight to Facebook, Claudia Moon Powered Astrology. Okay, Claudia Moon Powered Astrology. So thank you, Claudia. This has been amazing. And every week, Claudia is coming. So you might want to keep tuned in, and you want to mark it on your calendar so you do not miss this. Because if you're here, you can ask questions, and then we can approach the questions, which is always a ton of fun. So if you are wherever you're tuning in from the world, we thank you here at Spirituality Gone Wild. And Claudia, as always, it's an incredible honor to have you present here with
it's
us.
such a pleasure for me. It's such a privilege. Thank you. Yeah. And
you are awesome.
If you do email me, in the subject line, put either Spirituality Gone Wild or I want a reading, so I know, because that bay gets really full.
It does. So we've also, but we will have everything. If you all know about technology, streamlining takes a minute. So just be patient with us, and I guarantee you that everything is streamlined. And also, I want to announce that Claudia is going to be doing a workshop. And if you're interested in doing a workshop with Claudia, I would advise you to go ahead and put a yes into the chat. Okay. And to watch for that event to be coming up for with Claudia to do a workshop with her. And believe me, I am ultra excited about this one. Can I tell you? So, if you're really wanting to take a deeper dive into the moon and what that looks like, and how to really work that in a spectacular way, work it into your business, work it into your coaching, work it into your life, period, this is what you'll want to do. So, stay tuned and watch for that. And we will see you again next week. Claudia, any last words before we head out?
No, just I love you to the moon. All of you, thank you so much for watching. Happy full moon. Navigate this week with grace and ease, because that's what Libra gives you.
Grace and ease. I love that. I love you guys, and I see some yeses popping up. I love that too. So, all right, we'll see you on the flip, everybody. Take
Thank
it
you,
easy.
Debbie. Thank you. Thank you.